Hello, and welcome to Sauce Lab's Testing Tactics Training. Our goal is to ensure teams are getting the most success, adoption, and ultimately value out of your partnership with Sauce Labs as possible. In this video, we'll review how to leverage Sauce Labs usage analytics to improve application quality and debugging efficiency. Sauce Labs offers more than just a platform for running automated tests. We provide valuable usage analytics to track the quality of your application and get accelerated insights from your test suite results. The first thing you should do to really leverage Sauce Labs is set up pass-fail statuses. Sauce Labs only does what you tell it to do. Your framework is doing the assertions, thus is telling Sauce whether or not a test passed or failed. So to keep your results in sync with Sauce Labs, we advise that you update the end status of your test in Sauce Labs. The advantage of this, in combination with setting the test name, is that we can provide you with insights over time. This means we can help you detect flaky tests and pinpoint where possible issues are, so you can make your scripts more reliable. All of these analytics will lead to more trust in your tests, which will lead to more confidence in releasing your product to production. Let's look at a few different code examples. This is an example of a JavaScript executor sending pass-fail statuses to Sauce Labs. And here's an example using our Sauce API. This is what the test will look like in the user interface. As you see here in the before example, we would just have a completed status. But after setting up pass-fail statuses, you'll be able to see if a test passed or if it failed. In this example, it's passing, but it is able to show both statuses. Next, let's talk about the advantages to using build IDs, tags, and names. This example code snippet uses test names, tags, and build IDs. Assigning these unique attributes in your test capabilities can help you identify your tests. You can then apply these annotations to filter results on your Sauce Labs test results and archive pages. Following this best practice can make it easier to monitor tests and builds in your CI pipeline. Insights is the reporting and analytics hub of your Sauce test suite. In it, you will find an interactive data center that can help you interpret your test results over time, identify failure patterns across different platforms, understand how parallel tests can improve your build efficiency, and hone in on areas of your app that might benefit from deeper testing. With Insights, you can also use filters to adjust the scope of your test results. You can filter by owner, build, operating system, browser, device type, tag, and time period. All of this can help you interpret your test results over time, identify failure patterns across different platforms, understand how parallel tests can improve your build efficiency, and hone in on areas of your app that might benefit from deeper testing. Next, let's take a deeper dive at the different tabs in your Insights Analytics Hub. First up is the Job Overview tab. This tab provides a comprehensive overview of your testing strategy with easy navigation and filtering options across the top bar for different criteria so that you can identify and address patterns of failed tests for more efficient maintenance. The Job History tab displays a visual snapshot of test results over a selected period of time. So it can offer insights on the test history, like average run times, to help identify and optimize testing strategy. It also helps you identify how the quality of your test suite has been performing over time. Next is the Trends tab. Trends offers visualizations of test metrics, such as job counts and pass-fail rates, with filters for easy comparison across variables like device browser version. You can also filter by build and job stats for analyzing test durations to pinpoint efficiency improvements. The Coverage tab provides a detailed breakdown of the browsers and devices used in testing, really to offer insights into the comprehensiveness or depth and breadth of coverage of your cross-platform testing efforts, aligned with end customer usage data. Usage Analytics is our real-time concurrency reporting, which enables grouping by team and resources, filtering, and viewing usage over time. This allows you to leverage the data for consistent testing efficiency assessment and accurate resource allocation. Finally, we have Failure Analysis, which exposes Sauce Labs' machine learning results for emerging failure patterns. This allows you to optimize test efficiency by identifying common issues and enabling focused cleanup for tests with the most failures. It also allows for accelerated debugging because it enables you to pinpoint exactly where in your code it's blowing up and causing the failure to occur. It will also take you to a respective timestamp in the video log that we provide. Last but not least, let's discuss Sauce Labs' REST APIs. Afterwards, stay tuned for a quick demo by Sauce Labs' Senior Customer Success Manager Katie Robinson. Sauce Labs exposes a set of REST API endpoints that allow you to perform operations, manage accounts, and retrieve data programmatically, so you can use the Sauce platform in the way that best suits your business logic. Sauce Labs APIs are organized around REST. Each endpoint is structured as a resource-oriented URL that accepts inline query parameters and form-encoded request bodies, then returns JSON-encoded responses. Each endpoint is constructed from a base URL prefix that is based on the data center associated with the Sauce Labs account for which the request is relevant, plus the latest version for the given method. Basically, we're exposing the data if you want to build your own usage analytics. Also, our user interface only retains test results up to 30 days. So, if you want to keep track of your test results over a year, just programmatically send yourself the test results to create your own dashboard. Visit this website for more information about Sauce REST APIs and to find the base URLs for each data center. Now, let's jump into our Sauce Insights demo.
So now we are in my demo account, and we're going to be going over the usage, the Insights usage tab here. All right, so starting off, first we're going to be talking about job overview. So here we have the overview tab. Once again, we can see here is my test that I've selected. For my CSM team, I can always filter it by different teams that have been created or individual users. For now, I'm going to just select my own personal tests. Once again, I can filter by specific builds if I've set those attributes in my test, operating system, browser, framework, tags. I can change. Let's say I want, to do 30 days to give me more data. I can do that. This is a really good way for me to look, okay, in the past 7 days, I've had 99 tests run, 91 of those passed, 7 failed and 1 completed, giving me a comprehensive overview of how my test suite is performing. Once again, I can also see what was the breakdown on browsers. So it looks like right now my failure rate is all being attributed to actually Chrome, not Safari. Here I can see failure rate is being attributed to Windows, not to Mac. Framework. Okay, yeah, it's all WebDriver IO. Okay, great. And then it's all desktop, which is great. But I can see this is going to help me to understand when I'm debugging, right? Now I could filter knowing that it's only my Chrome and Windows tests that are failing in tandem. So I can do that to help me, with debugging. I can also look at my consistently failing tests. I have a different chart that I like looking at that view a lot better. So we're going to do it that way. I don't have any tests right now that are erroring out. If I did, my favorite view to look at failures is actually this errors tab right here. What it does is it aggregates your error tests by error type. So if I had let's say I had 10 tests that errored out, it would say 2 of your tests have errored out due to, not seeing a new command for 90 seconds. And then 8 tests errored out due to a user terminated the test. And then it would list all of those tests that errored out underneath the error type. So it just really helps when it comes to aggregating errors for accelerated debugging. Like, let's say I know today I'm going to focus on all of my tests that don't have a driver quit command, and therefore they're erroring out after 90 seconds because they're not seeing a new command because the test wasn't ended properly. I can go to this tab, see all those tests that are affected by those errors and aggregate and go and debug them one by one. Great. Now going to, and we can do this for real devices as well. Here we can see my real device runs. Just make sure that if you're switching between the product lines, virtual cloud, so virtual devices, virtual machine tests here, real device tests, you're clicking on this bubble. Now, if we go to job history, one of my favorite charts in Sauce Labs, I'm going to be able to track how my test suite is performing week over week. So here I can see I have, let's pull this out for the past 30 days to give us a little bit more data. Wow, so I can see pretty consistently my results are staying the same day over day. When I go down, let's say I want to identify, what was my results for a particular couple of days? I can go ahead and click here and it's going to filter that results all by that particular day's run. So let's say you see a day where there was a huge in spike on failures and you want to pinpoint that or look more into that, you can always filter dynamically right on the chart itself. But let's say I really want to identify, there's one test failing week over week. What is this test? I can go down here to this chart and actually filter by consistently failing tests. It's going to be in relation to the date range that you have selected at the top. So right now I'm looking at the past 30 days. That means this Swag Labs login with Selenium tests, every time it ran over the past 30 days, it failed. And if I, for instance, if I filter this by 7 days, it would show me any test that every time it ran the past 7 days, it failed every time. Once again, we can see fail count, 30 out of 30, 100% fail rate. This is a great way for end users to, one, clean up tests that are not meaningful and are bringing your fail rate higher than it needs to be, right? So if this is a test that, let's say I look into the test and I realize, oh, I know this test. This is an old test. It's not even part of our website anymore. Let's take this out because this is just bringing our pass rate down and it's not important. Or conversely, wow, this is a really important test that needs to be fixed ASAP. It should not be failing week over week. Let's go ahead and fix that. And then we can track the quality of this test, next week after it's runs to make sure that we're seeing it passed after doing our test configuration change. You can also identify flaky tests. So that would be under inconsistent result. Don't have any right now, which is great. But if I had a test where, let's say I ran it 10 times, and of those 10 times, it passed half the time and then failed half the time. But let's say you haven't made any code changes and you want to understand, okay, that's flaky. What's happening here? You can go ahead and filter by inconsistent results. Also very helpful. You can also filter by any tests that are missing a status, right? So that would be tests that are not having pass-fail statuses that are only showing as complete. You can filter by tests that are erroring, passing, failing, flaky tests, and all. Now we're going to go over to the Trends tab. Also a great chart. Here we're going to see the number of jobs per day over the past 30 days. Once again, our pass rate. We're really wanting to track quality. We want to ensure the quality of our applications before pushing into production. No errors here. This is really important. So as we're wanting, especially for team managers or org admins, ensuring that your teams are getting the most out of their Sauce Labs subscription, when you go to this bottom chart, it actually shows us which builds are not running in parallel, which actually, once again, shows the value of Sauce Labs. So for me, I have access, you all, to 100 virtual machines. This build took 696 hours to run. I don't even know how many days that is. And it ran on one of our virtual machines, sucking up that resources. So let me just do some quick math. 696 divided by 24. That's 29 days this one test took to run. It had 390 items. So that means it ran sequentially, as we can see up here. The efficiency shows sequential. That means every test ran one after another. So of those 390 tests, it ran one after another, and it took 29 days to run, versus if we had gone ahead and just ran those tests in parallel of 390 running in a threads of 100, that is so let's say that's only 4 test runs that it would have taken to do, to be able to encompass essentially 400 tests or 390 tests. And of those 4 test runs, if the longest test in this entire suite was, it looks like it's only a couple seconds. If that longest test was 20 seconds, I'm just going to do some quick math here. So 20 seconds times 4 test runs, yeah, 80 seconds. It would take a minute to run 390 tests, versus right now it took 696 hours, once again, 29 days. So something that you could do in minutes in Sauce Labs would take you days if you're not running in parallel. So really making sure you're using this chart to make sure that you're using parallelization effectively. I also want to now go ahead and point, since we're just talking about parallelization, I'm going to skip over coverage for now. I'll come back to it, but I want to go ahead and opt into usage. This is another great way. Oh my gosh, like, do you see this? I have to go in and fix the settings on my demo account. Clearly, I'm only running per day threads of 12s day over day in the past 7 days. And even let's say 30 days. Wow. Only 12 tests ever ran in parallel when I have the ability to run up to 100. And let's say I want to compare that against how many tests I'm actually running on a daily basis. I can go here. I can go into team management. I can look at teams, right? So we're going to see specifically the default team is running the most tests. Okay, so here we have VM tests per day. So actually pretty similar. I'm not running enough tests to hit my concurrency every day. But this could also show me, hey, we have room to add more tests. Let's find some new teams. Our team isn't running, 100 tests in parallel, but we don't have 100 daily tests. Let's go ahead and figure out where we can optimize. Conversely, if I went into this chart and I saw, okay, we were running threads of 12. However, there was 100 VM tests running per day. That would tell me, okay, if there's 100 tests running per day, I need to up my parallelization to ensure that I'm running most effectively. And I also want to check, and my team limit is set up to 100. I'm not being limited by 12. Perfect. Here is coverage. So we're going to be able to see, what are the different browsers we ran in for the past 7 days, OS versions, just a high level overview. Finally, we're going to be coming to my absolute favorite resource when it comes to utilizing Sauce Labs most effectively, which is our machine learning for failure analysis. So here we can see I have 2 tests, and how failure analysis works is we use machine learning to look at all of your failed tests and aggregate them. Tests that we're seeing the same piece of code cause the test to fail, aggregate those tests under it as a fail pattern. So really important at this view by to switch by failure patterns, right? Versus just jobs. We can see this is an Appium one. So if we wanted to go here, we can see here, is this still my Appium test? Yep, it's my select product Appium test. I can see that this is the element of the test that's causing the test to break or fail. Here, for instance, we can see 7 tests, or 88% of that test suite was impacted by this code snippet causing the test to fail. We're going to aggregate those by fail type to help for debugging and most pervasive failure. But ultimately, my favorite part of our machine learning is actually the time savings it takes when debugging. I got so excited about this. This is a very short Appium test, only 15 commands and 20-second video. I have 2 options when I'm debugging. I can go through each of the command lines and see the status return Or what I can do is I can filter and say has failure pattern, and it's going to take me to the exact command line that is returning the 404 response code, which is saying that there's no element that exists, and it's going to take me to the exact timestamp where this error is occurring. These are really short tests, but when you have hundreds of failures and each test is 3 to 5 minutes with hundreds of commands, I cannot even begin to explain the time savings that we've seen with our customers utilizing this for effective debugging. And then once you've gone in and done the debugging, you can go ahead and track your results over time back through, once again, the job history tab.